Hey y'all, it's T, and I have a question for y'all. But first off, I got my girl. She's wild and free today. Letting her breathe, letting her do her thing. She is living her best life, okay? And so am I. So, um, question. Have you, oh, I forgot my tea. 1 second. I'm back. Mm, girl, get out my tea. Mhm. I got my tea this morning, y'all. I got my fruit. I'll show y'all. Got my fruit though. And got a couple questions. Mhm. Have you ever felt like you just didn't fit in? Like, let me see some good examples. Have you ever felt like you just were not like the people that you were around? You just did not fit in whatever way you deem that to be, right? I do all the time. Um, I know I'm not like a lot of people, and I know I don't do a lot of things that people do, which brings me to the point of, I have my name as propriety, right? Except it's a T-E-E at the end because, my name is T. But it's propriety, and I'm going to read y'all a couple definitions as to what that means and then let you know why I named my channel Propriety, okay? You with me? All right. So, the first definition, right? The state or quality of conforming to conventionally accepted standards of behaviors or morals, right? But my two favorite renditions of that definition is conformity to the established standards of good, right? And two, behavior that follows the accepted social standards. None of those are me. I'ma just let y'all know y'all ain't tell me I'm out here acting a fool. I'ma just let y'all know I don't fit into social standards, society standards, i.e., first off, being a black or brown girl, however you want to identify. I identify myself as a brown girl, a black girl, African American, whatever. However, this isn't socially accepted in a lot of places right here, right? And growing up, it wasn't either. Especially growing up, it wasn't. Along with a lot of other things. So I decided that I was going to create my own social standards, and live by those, right? Live by whatever I deem to be good, because socially accepted standards of good haven't always been a good mold for me to follow as a young, slim, brown girl. I'm not knocking any of that at all. Everybody has their standards. Society has its standards. I don't care to fit into that at all. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about I wanted to get a little feedback as to how you guys fit into social standards, right? Do you attempt to fit into social standards? Do you care about what people think so much that you decide to fit in? You decide to look past whatever it is that you have deep down inside yourself, your individuality, to fit into whatever standards people have for you? I did for a very long time. I sure did. But it wasn't until I, excuse me, it wasn't until I really learned to love myself that I decided that that wasn't acceptable for me. I don't want to conform to the way other people are living. And a lot of times, I was in an environment where people aren't like me. I've moved, like I told y'all in a previous video, I moved around my entire life. And a lot of times it was equally diverse. A lot of times it was equally diverse. I will say that. When I say equally diverse, though, I want to say balanced. That's probably the term that I'm actually looking for. However, the other times, it has been in a predominantly white environment, and that's not something that I typically fit into. A lot of times I would come back home, because I told you guys, right? I tried to fit in. I tried to conform. I've tried all of that throughout my entire life. So I would come back home to family, and they would say things like, oh, you talk white. Oh, you act white. First off, I don't know what talking white or acting white is. I talk properly, but acting, sometimes I took on behaviors of those around me. Not necessarily white people behaviors, but of those around me, right? But when I'm home, I spend some time at home, home being where most of my family live, like here in Florida, right? I would go back to where I live, and they would say things like, oh, you talk country, or whatever it may be, right? I probably won't go into too much detail right now, but it's like you never fit in until you learn to love yourself. When you learn to love yourself, it doesn't matter if you fit in. It doesn't matter if you look the part or act the part, because you're yourself. And I learned very late on that people actually love you just for being yourself. You get a lot more done by just being yourself. A lot more comes to you. A lot more blessings and favor by just being yourself, being your authentic, genuine self, learning what it is that you like, learning to love your flaws, learning to embrace the things that make you different. That's what I learned very, very late on. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to name my channel Propriety with a TEE at the end, because there's socially accepted standards for myself. What I deem to be okay, what I deem to be good, as Webster called it, okay? So as you venture down into my journey, as you venture on my journey with me, you'll see why I named my channel the way I did. You'll see why I view life the way I do, and I go about living my life the way I do. So I pray that you guys don't feel the need to conform to whatever crap society deems socially acceptable, right? And that you're just your authentic self. You're your authentic being. You're you. I hope y'all can join me in that journey. I hope y'all give me a little bit of feedback. Let me know if you can relate for real, But I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace and blessings. I love y'all.